How's it going, everybody? So this lesson is going to be about watercolor painting and using washes. Actual drawing. You're going to see I'm going to draw a head and paint a background and adding washes to it. Remember, watercolor, you're tinting the paper like windows in a car. You're not putting a whole bunch down. You're using water to help layer the paint over the surface in a very transparent way so you can layer colors on top of each other to get the desired hue and value that you would like. Small soda. So, watch the video, make sure that you're taping everything down properly, and good luck. Alright, as you can see here, I've got my supplies. So you get the watercolor paper, watercolor, don't use the canvas paper because it's a different texture. Taping everything down, remember you're not rubbing it, you're just pressing. And cleaning out the yellow there because someone didn't clean out the yellow because yellow is very easy to mix. And I'm using just a regular pencil and I'm drawing out my design. If you want to opaque projector it, that's fine. We can do that, or if you just want to draw it out, that's fine. If you want to use a grid method, that works too. The basic premise here is we're going to start painting using colors as washes over top of each other. So we're also going to get different colors that we're going to wash together and do some mixing. So see there, I got that. You can see there in the palette I got kind of a ochre or yellow oxide. I have like an orange and I have a sienna or a brown. This would be a reddish brown. This would be, the first color is a yellow, is our base color. So we're going to add that first. And then we're going to, when it dries, we're going to put the orange over top of it. That's the center one. And then when that dries, we're going to put our shadows in, which is the dark one. You can pre-mix these to your liking. I would test them out on a preliminary before you go to a final to make sure that you know how they operate and know how they work. When I did this, I just kind of went from my schooling from prior and just used yellow oxide or an ochre first and went from there. See, I'm getting blue. I'm going to get some red and I'm going to make kind of like my own purple. Clean out your brushes before you start adding anything. This is going really fast so you don't see me cleaning out my brush. You hit it 3 times at the bottom. Again, we're tinting the paper, so it is, we can add more pigmentation and move it into the water to spread it out if we need to. You see how I went right up against the face real finely and then added water to help move it. So we want to go up right against the face using the tip of the brush and then getting water and moving it out and dispersing it so we can get a gradation. You see how I'm doing that there? So I'm adding some paint down, adding water, moving it around. If I want more pigmentation, I'll grab more pigment and I will add it. You want the color to flow. You don't want it just to stay in a puddle. So you want to move it around and disperse it so you can get the nice shadows, midtones, highlights. Notice here that I'm not going all over the yellow. I'm going over most of the yellow to get a nice middle tone to kind of mix in that color and accentuate the shadows and accentuate the highlights by leaving the highlights alone. I'm letting the natural color of the paper peek through to get my highlights. And while that dries, we can work on the background. So you want to move in stages. You want to have your colors ready and move in stages. I picked up a little bit of red to add to some of the color to give a nice form and definition to areas of the face that are a little bit redder than the other. So you can see here, I'm going to make kind of, looks like a blue-green. And I'm adding more definition. more washes to darken up areas. So I want to darken my darks, keep my lights light. You see I use like brush strokes there to give an eminence of view of shadow. And then I'm adding a little bit red so that it mixes on the palette. I don't know what I just did, but it hit something. So I'm putting washes over top of washes, getting that red to mix with that purple right on the screen. See how I'm darkening it up? That presses the face forward. So my darkest spots are going to be right next to the face, and I'm going to disperse the color. Because I want the darkest right next to create that high contrast so the face pops out a little bit more visually. And I'm adding the red, giving the tint of red, and having it overlap. You're going to add more and more washes, work on your darks, your midtones. And now, you can see here, I'm going to add my sienna, which is a mixture of red, yellow, and brown. Try to get darker shadows. So I'm going to tint. My problem here on this one was that when it dried lighter. So I should have went a little bit less water, but you can add more washes as it dries to help intensify that color, get the hue that you want, to get the dimension you want. You can already see here that we started off with yellow, went over with the orange, now we got the brown. See how it's starting to form? We got the shadows, the highlights, and the midtones. This is what you're going to do. You're going to keep working with it. You're going to try it on prelims first for you. Try it on the final, so smaller pieces. And there's the cover, so good luck. It's called Washes.